Russell Simmons.
Morning. Well, I have to say that the reason I'm here is for DT, and DT was the driving force. Gives away too much credit. She's the one with the vision and all the hard work. That's why we're here. So, this morning I want to talk about a little bit about because the sum total of what I've learned is in my book, Super Rich. It really did take a lot out of me back into cleansing for me, because I realized some basic ideas that were the driving force behind my successes in various different businesses. And one note that was critical to me is this note from this great Christian yogi who said the imagination is God. And he also would skip the hard work, dedication, and faith, and said if you had enough imagination and faith, then miracles would happen. He said those are like when Jesus would say, all those things I do, you can do, and even greater, all these things. This idea that if you had enough faith, things would happen automatically, but for most of us, mere, like, just normal people, we go about our work, and we dedicate ourselves and keep our head down and are resilient and build a business. And usually we start with an idea that no one agrees with or understands, and certainly it's okay the first day, maybe you can come home and tell your wife, I got this idea. And she says, that's great. You go to the library, start to research it, and then 6 months later you say, it's coming to fruition, I can feel it, and she says, okay. Then 6 years later, she's like, this, what? She's thinking, and then in the 7th year, it comes to pass, and everybody's like, wow, you're so smart, you know. And what you were is resilient, and you made a lot of mistakes along the way, but you had faith. And faith is the most critical element. And he said, with that alone, miracles happen. But again, the hard work and dedication and resilience are critical. So my book is about this practice, about the practice of making your work your prayer, about accepting that you really have everything you need, and operating from that comfort zone that you have everything you need. So it's more a metaphysical rap, right, than it is a CEO rap. The CEOs, they take over. They're the guys who run the oil companies and run the gas company. I said oil, right? Run the meat industry. They don't think, oh, let's develop alternative forms of protein. They don't think, let's invest a big chunk in alternative forms of energy. They don't really, but if you're a good entrepreneur, and you find this real service that people really need, and you go to work and you provide that service. And then you also a person who can see all kinds of white spaces, because people need everything. All people need everything. They're suffering for lack of almost everything. So the idea that everything is being done is the mindset for the CEO who's just got a quarterly report. But the entrepreneur has got an open mind. And so the practices that are in my book are about how do we find this freedom to see a space and where do we find the strength to be resilient. And so I was meant to give everybody a book, but I think Michael, he's shaking his head like, yes, Michael. But anyway, it's just a simple book. It's stuff you already know. It's written in every scripture. It came out of the yogic scripture, but it's the basic ideas operating from abundance, having faith, and delivering. Give them. Because he give them a big show. And you can't show either. That's Michael, white boy. That's the stuff I'm going to talk about too. Let's hold one book up. Thank you. So, our community is full of so much imagination. So anyways, the idea that we already operate from a place that we have everything, it's really important. I mean, I know a lot of you already know this because you have courage, you're building a business, you have to struggle every day, you enjoy your struggle, try not to stress too much, you operate from a comfortable seat. Seats, I talk a lot about a comfortable seat. It's important because no matter how big your mansion, you can only sit your ass in one seat. And it's important, that's very important because, to be comfortable in your seat, that's rich. And super rich is a state of needing nothing. And no one here really needs anything. At this moment, needs nothing. And so that person who's able to go out and give and make their work their prayer and be a good giver becomes a great getter. In fact, Jesus taught 2 sermons, one for the masses. He said, oh, if you work hard and you're a great servant, and you wouldn't have no problem paying the Romans their taxes. You could just go to work and be a good servant. Everybody would want you around. You'd be attractive, and you would make the money and pay the Romans. Be good. But he told his disciples, who really had no problem paying taxes, do the work for the needs to get done, and you'll be closer to God and you'll be happy. This is the entrepreneur, does the work. I mean, this is the better entrepreneur. I mean, giving and trading is good, but giving is even better. So that's my subject. That's the kind of subject I like to stick to because I've had those experiences where my work was my prayer. You're making a good record, stillness sets in. It's the melody, not the money. There's a moment where you stop for a second and you say, wait till they hear this gift I have, wait till they hear this. But never the money because, of course, if that was the bottom line, then you couldn't make a good record. So all of you who are engaged in good work, and you know it's a service, and if you have your head down, then you're doing the entrepreneurial thing. You're serving, and you're giving. And hopefully you're giving something that you can feel good about. If you're a vegan, you probably don't own a steakhouse. I'm not going to go there because I went into that subject church and the priest almost threw me out preaching. But maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. So the idea of being super rich, the idea of operating from abundance, the idea of going out and making your work your prayer, the idea of building something that no one else can believe in, that you can believe in. God gives you this vision. He gave it to you and you alone. You have to carry the cross for a little bit on your own. People will watch you. First they'll cheer, then they'll be upset with you, then they'll get real mad, and you'll be on their couch. Then you'll get off their couch and you'll be this hero. It's impossible, if God gave you that vision, for you to fail at it unless you quit. So this is a very important lesson because it seems like in every business, everybody quits all the time. The success stories are the ones who went the extra mile. So in our community, some basic truths. In the African American community, certainly, the driving force in pop culture since jazz, blues, rock and roll, pop, everything, all that stuff, and all the stuff that drove the advertising and the branding, and the stuff that drove the style, and the stuff that drove the product building, brand building, possibilities, came out of creativity of the underserved community. They had to build something new, and you are in communities where all of these things are possible, and where we haven't always exploited all those things. So the question is, how do we broaden our idea? I mean, obviously, if we are black entrepreneurs and we serve the black community, we're serving 3 or 4% of the country's wealth. We're 10% or 11% of the people, so 3 or 4% of the country's wealth. So we have to think about that. I want to talk about it a little bit, and I wonder, this is always a tough subject, but I should probably talk a little bit. The idea of the black businessman who went to Harvard, and he came out of the hood and he went to Harvard. It was genius that he got to Harvard. It's even more genius that he can have a party when he's finished with Harvard and all of his friends from Harvard come over and they're all black. that is, to me, is genius also. Like, you didn't meet nobody, you didn't build relationships with nobody. I mean, integration destroyed the economics of the black community. There's no black doctor on your corner. There's no black pharmacist on your corner. Jimmy Jazz is on your corner. Dr. J's is on your corner. Entrepreneurs are on your corner. People who understand or are learning, or building brands that serve your community, that are entrepreneurs. They're colorblind. They will come to any corner. They will do anything possible. They will meet anybody. They will get outside their comfort zone, and they will make friends wherever they have commonality, not where they have not where just because of the same color. And I think it's a subject that, it's not broached enough, and it's an uncomfortable subject. Elijah Muhammad used to talk about the chain that was around black people's neck. It was like the chains around animals. And when you took the chain off their neck, the animals wouldn't move, and it's almost like the black community is that way. We fought so hard for integration, and we've not really used our resources, integrated them or into the mainstream. It integrates, they integrate, the ideas do, but we don't follow, we don't go downstream with our products and our ideas. And I think it's up to us to recognize that we have to maybe move outside our comfort zone sometimes and build partnerships with people who have resources in some cases, have your same interests regarding business, and regarding serving this community and serving the entire American family. And I think that's a kind of stumbling block. I'm the chairman of the Foundation for Ethnic Understanding. What? And the Foundation for Ethnic Understanding, we do research. And we find all these things about ethnicity. We do a lot of Muslim Jewish stuff too, but we really do a lot of different ethnic dialogue. And we get a lot of research. One of the things we notice, and my partner is a rabbi in this work, and he's on another board. We noticed about the lack of integration in the African American community, but we noticed that 76% of American Jewish community members marry outside of their faith. You gotta make friends. You can't just wave at the white people at the office. Oh yeah, that's my man. Yeah, I see you later. Yeah, I see you Monday. You gotta shift it, a little bit. You gotta come over. If you know how many dinners I had on Friday night, how many Sabbath dinners I had. I thought I lived on Ocean Parkway for a minute. So I recommend that you take all of your opportunities and all of your potential partnerships and exploit all of your, and build relationships everywhere and try to, it's impossible for me. I run 5 charities not to serve my community. I cannot escape. I've served this president. I served this initiative to help lift our community up, but I'm not chained to it. And I just want us to broaden this. That's the only message you carry. I think from the book, the message that's important about personal transformation, a simple chapter on meditation. I'm sorry I didn't give you all one. Then I don't have much time. I'm going to take a few questions, but they told me, there you go. No question? No question. All right, well, the last thing I say is that I really know there's so much creativity and so much that our community has to offer, and I hope that each one of you will take all of your opportunities and advantage of every resource and really be part of this initiative. Thank God for the president and recognizing that we need support and resources, and thank you all for having me here. Thank you.